Greetings, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board, and to our new board members, welcome to what I think is going to be a phenomenal presentation. I just remember when I came here 2 years ago and went through this process, I was kind of shocked at the amount of work that Mr. Mosier, the finance team, all of the cabinet members put into this. I think we did about 10 dry runs. And you can imagine having to do these dry runs at 40 minutes a pop. It can be a lot, but I think what we have put together is something that will continue to move this district in the right direction. So I'm ready to get into this. President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, members of the board, elected officials, community members, employees, families, and most of all, students. On a warm August day 2 years ago, I stepped into the dais in this boardroom for the first time as the superintendent of this school district. Dr. Tobin introduced me at the outset of my initial board meeting, and I vividly remember my thoughts with regard to the polite applause that ensued. I appreciated it, but truthfully, I hadn't done anything yet. On that day, and every day since, I have sought to set a tone, an expectation that while I inherited a really good school district from those who came before me, I wasn't interested in being good. I'm still not interested in being good. I don't want us to be a district that's good and just flies under the radar. I want this school district to be great and to be on everybody's radar across the country. 28 months after that first board meeting, I can stand here tonight and tell you with pride and without any reservation that we are on our way. We have been relentless in our focus to move our students forward socially, emotionally, and academically. We have been unafraid to talk about where we are and where we want to go. Most importantly, we have been fearless about discussing what it will take to get there, about making the necessary changes, about innovating, about confronting challenges, and about implementing the things that are required to make us the best school district in Maryland and one of the premier districts in the country. After all, when we win as a school district, our entire county wins. The progress we've made has been possible first and foremost because of our amazing team members who come to work each and every day in our schools and offices focused on enhancing the educational experience we provide. And we have several of them here. I have asked each of them to examine their work and also identify places where we can modernize what we can do to be more efficient and more effective. Employees just starting their AACPS careers can see the fruits of those efforts firsthand. Gone are the days of stacks of employment paperwork and moving from station to station during onboarding sessions in this boardroom just to complete and submit required documentation. That has been replaced by an online experience that is faster, less cumbersome, requires no travel time, and is a far more enjoyable entry into the AACPS family. Teachers, school-based staff, students, and families will soon feel the same way when we transition from our current learning management system to the Canvas LMS next fall. Canvas will be a one-stop shop for instructional materials. It will reduce the workload for teachers, increase the ease of document storage and availability, and result in easier tracking of coursework and grades for students and their families. Our progress has also been due to a school board, elected officials, and a community that have invested their time and effort taking advantage of the opportunities we have made available to ask questions and communicate their needs and desires. Instead of shying away from these encounters, our team has been intentional about seeking them out. Leaders from across our school system and I have been and will continue to be visible at meetings in our communities so that we can have those crucial discussions. While we haven't and won't agree on everything, open dialogue is crucial to having buy-in, building trust, and achieving progress. It has been in those initial listening and learning sessions, our community conversations events, our partner in progress discussions, and the dozens and dozens of other meetings in which we have participated that ideas to move us forward as a system have been brought to light and nurtured. It has also been through these events that we have created and enhanced a collective effort, not an individual one. The new strategic plan that guides our work every day is a perfect example of that. It does not belong to me, to our team, or even to this board. It is our community's plan, developed by a group of 60 or so people involved in our school system in many different ways, but equally influenced by the hundreds of responses from focus groups that included everyone from students to families to employees and community members. The power of our strategic plan's 16-word vision, Anne Arundel County Public Schools is a school community where everyone can belong, grow, and succeed, lies in the fact that it is not the voice of one, but the voice of so many. School systems often encounter criticism because they refuse to move away from so-called legacy programs, ones that aren't achieving desired results, but that have been comfortable for staff. We have refused to follow that course, instead having the courage to make adjustments we believe are necessary. We have also been open about the fact that not everything will work. We have been clear about the need to be agile and to pivot when necessary, and also about having the grace to occasionally fail, something that I defined as the first attempt in learning. A year ago, we moved away from our elementary math curriculum to Reveal Math, which is designed to incorporate rich instruction and real-life connections that provide students with multiple opportunities to see themselves and how math relates to their everyday lives. This year, we moved forward with the Core Knowledge Language Arts Elementary Literacy Curriculum, which infuses all 5 of the key science of reading pillars: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Both sets of high-quality instructional materials were adopted after input that included multiple stakeholders. Again, these are changes made through collective conversations instead of in isolation. The same can be said for the learning management system I referenced earlier. We will incorporate even more stakeholder involvement in that project during our early adopters phase in the 4th quarter of this school year. We have also not been afraid to change educational models. Following visits last year to see the programs at both Phoenix Academy and Mary Moss at J. Albert Adams Academy, I had many conversations about the best way to improve instructional delivery to the students with special needs and those with emotional disabilities served by these 2 schools. Again, we engaged not just central office administrators, but teachers and others in these buildings to work directly with our students every day. As a result of those discussions, we changed the focus at both schools. Phoenix Academy is now an educational option setting for students in grades 6 through 12 who attend via the parent choice application process or through a discipline sanction. Mary Moss at J. Albert Adams Academy is now a public separate day school for students whose individualized education plan dictates placement in this setting. I have visited both campuses this year and have been very pleased with the progress we're seeing. I am confident this direction is a better fit for our students and for our educators, and we will continue to offer enhancements in both of those programs. When it comes to effective instructional delivery, we have been severely hamstrung, particularly at the secondary level, by the increasing distraction of cell phones. This has been an issue not just here in Anne Arundel County, but around the country, and it is causing people to leave the education field. Rare were school visits where this topic did not come up over my first 2 years. It was one of the most mentioned things by teachers, school staff, and families. Cell phones have taken time away from academics, have made classrooms more difficult to manage, and have been major factors in bullying, fights, and the like. So we made a change, enacting new cell phone guidelines this fall that allow high school students to use their phones only at lunch and require middle and elementary schools to have them put away at all times. Students didn't like it. Trust me. I know. I heard it on every one of the secondary visits I conducted this school year, and truthfully, board and community, I probably just simply needed to stay out of the cafeterias because that's where I was bombarded by students, and this was an example of some of that conversation right there. But here's what I shared with our students. We have you in school for 19% of the hours in a week. Please give us that time, and you have the other 81%. I also made our students this deal. We won't totally ban phones, as some other school districts have done. If you show us you can do what we are asking you to do. I told everybody that I had faith in our students to do the right thing. And for the most part, they have. They rose to the occasion. Now, while we still have some work to do, our classrooms are more orderly, have fewer distractions. Teachers have told me they can get through their instruction more easily. Students in my teen advisory group also reported that most of their classrooms have gotten on board with the new guidelines. And I believe strongly that this move will stem frustration and keep more teachers employed in our county. Now, it's easy to stand and talk about change and to ask people to invest in bringing that change about. In the end, however, we have to produce a return on that investment. I'm proud to say to everyone in our county that your investment in our children and our school system is paying dividends. In the latest Maryland report card results released earlier this month, 92% of our schools earned a 3, 4, or 5-star on the 5-star scale, and 53% of our schools are in the top 2 tiers. Those percentages far outpaced the state again this year, and the 21 schools that improved their rating by at least 1 star, led by Hilltop Elementary School's 2-star gain, are more evidence of the sustained growth we are seeing. A key data point in those results is that 10 of those 21 schools are community schools as designated by the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. Another 17 community schools increased their total points by at least 1%, moving them closer to earning another star and providing more evidence that our investment of state community school funds, and in many cases, federal Title I dollars, is both sound and wise. It is this kind of progress that I worry will be stymied should the state or federal lawmakers trim either funding source. The Maryland report card is just one measure, though. We have seen sustained increases over the last 3 years in the number of students taking advanced placement exams, the average score on those exams, and the percentage of students scoring a 3 or higher, the generally accepted mark to earn college credit. In addition, 8 of our schools have been named to this year's College Board 2024 AP Honor Roll. We are also now administering the pre-SAT 8-9 to all 9th graders at no cost as an additional step to measure AP potential, increase our number of future national merit scholars, and provide additional other scholarship opportunities. The pre-SAT administration also helps our students to become familiar with the assessment. It reduces test anxiety, but it also helps to build stamina when they have to take it on the actual SAT day during their junior year. The latest Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program proficiency rates show increases in English language arts and math, as well as a narrowing of gaps between African American and white students. While our scores are not yet where we want them to be, we have the highest year-to-year increases in the Baltimore area. We are also 3rd in the state in English language arts and 4th in math in those year-to-year increases. Once again, I want to note improvement among our community schools. We have seen increases in almost every assessed area, and the percentage of students who are chronically absent at these schools has fallen by more than 5 points. This is more proof that those direct Blueprint and Title I funds, when used strategically, can have significant positive impacts on students. The ultimate measure of any school system is its graduation rates. While our rate for the class of 2024 will not be released until February, our team is closely monitoring the data that goes into calculating it. I have every reason, and I mean every reason, to believe that when our rate is published, the result will reflect countless hours of work that have gone into bringing about positive change. We continue to monitor scores of data in every regard, and the trends are very positive. This school district is absolutely moving in the right direction, and you can see that on this chart noted by the progression of seeing green. Green shows growth, and the goal is to have us have green across the entirety of this chart, and then to continue to strive to get us to where 100% of our kids are hitting mastery levels across the board. Our work to make improvements has not been limited to classrooms. With the help of this board, the county executive, and the county council, we secured funding to bring back middle school athletics to our county for the first time in decades. This spring, our students in grades 6 through 8 will be able to compete in boys and girls soccer. This is a win-win scenario for our students and communities because it provides middle schoolers with meaningful outlets to develop healthy relationships and enhance athletic skills after school hours in what may otherwise be idle time. We have confronted many challenges over the last 2 years. I am proud of the way we have built a collective trust and tackled them together in an open and transparent way. In my first year, we successfully navigated a shift in school start and dismissal times led by our board to hours that are healthier for all students. This year, we implemented what I believe is the largest redistricting ever in Anne Arundel County, moving about 6,400 students in 7 of our 14 clusters. There is no more emotional undertaking than one in which a student is asked to change schools. But I am proud of our entire team, particularly in the facilities division, for the time and effort that went into this necessary change. From the initial work of our consultant to my recommendations to the plan adopted by the board, this was a transparent process filled with opportunities for input. It is my expectation that the systemic approach and precedent we set forth in phase 1 will be carried forward into phase 2 when it begins later this school year, and that once again, everyone, no matter whether they agree with a final decision or not, will feel as if they had an opportunity to have a voice. In my first 2 budget recommendations, we have placed an emphasis on people. I have been very open about the fact that we need to show our people that they are valued, because it is absolutely impossible to have great programs without great people to lead them. On average, our employees have seen 13% increases in their direct compensation over the last 2 years. That's in addition to incentives, such as the $2,000 bonus for special education teachers, the $1,000 bonuses for employees as a show of appreciation for their work during times of significant staff shortages, and a targeted increase to first-year teachers to bring their salaries from 19th in the state to 4th in a single year. It's also in addition to the indirect compensation we provide to employees, things such as health care benefits, the value of paid time off, and pension funding paid by AACPS. These and similar items can add as much as 40% to an employee's overall compensation. They are critical to our ability to recruit and retain employees in an increasingly competitive job market. We have taken other approaches as well, like shifting to a virtual workday on Tuesday before Thanksgiving, a day on which we have parent-teacher conferences at schools to allow employees to do their work, but perhaps from a different location as they journey to be with their families and friends for the holiday. It has all been designed to relay a simple message to our employees. We want you here. We do appreciate you. Belong, grow, and succeed applies just as much to you as it does to our students. Those are critical efforts that will continue in this budget. The work we have done together has had a dramatic positive impact on the number of vacancies since I first arrived. From classroom teachers to custodians, bus drivers, and teaching assistants, we have been able to reduce openings and therefore enhance the educational experience for all of our students. For example, our multi-pronged approach has resulted in a 76.7% reduction in classroom teacher vacancies over a 2-year period. On the first day of classes this year, 99% of our classrooms were staffed with certificated or licensed teachers. Our work is also increasing the profile of our school district and bringing more students to our classrooms. A recent Wallet Hub survey ranked Maryland third in the nation in education. A separate survey by Test Prep Insight asking families which school districts they would most want their children to be in if they had the choice put AACPS 40th in the nation and number 1 in the DMV region. It should be no surprise then that while a number of school systems are still experiencing enrollment declines, our enrollment is nearly back to pre-pandemic levels. We have about 700 more students in our system today than we did a year ago, and we are projected to continue growing. The needs of our students are also far different today than they were when the pandemic began in 2020. The number of multilingual students we educate has risen by 38% in that time. The number of students receiving free and reduced price meals is up more than 32%, and our population of students with special needs has increased by 17%. But also, the kindergarten expansion mandated by the blueprint has resulted in more than 1,000 additional pre-K3 and pre-K4 seats that have prioritized economically disadvantaged students with disabilities and multilingual learners. Those dramatic increases present more opportunities for us to address student needs, and we've detailed them in publicly available scorecards that accompany our strategic plan. This budget is the next step in addressing those needs. Throughout this process, I asked our team to develop and put forth proposals that are necessary to propel us toward becoming a truly great school system, but to do so with an eye toward both efficiency and the larger budgetary picture in which we find ourselves. Governor Westmore's comments last week at the Maryland Association of Counties Convention made it clear that the state's projected multi-billion-dollar shortfall will impact our school system in some way, even if the exact nature of that impact has yet to be determined. So while the advocacy for our students is and will continue to be fierce, we are also aware of the likely need to be flexible. In addition to employee compensation, the $1.8 billion operating budget I am recommending to this Board of Education focuses our efforts on 3 key areas: special education, early literacy, and multilingual learners. We cannot be the great school system that I expect and that I know everyone wants without significant additional investment in these areas. My recommendation includes 155 positions and more than $16.3 million to be utilized by the Division of Specialized Instruction and Early Intervention Services to enhance student support and outcomes. The number of students with special needs has risen by 5% in each of the last 2 years, and the required services stipulated on individualized education plans are greater and more complex than ever. I remain adamant that we must do everything we can to help each and every single child develop a sense of belonging. This recommendation is a large step forward in that effort. Of the 155 positions, 91 are classroom teachers and instructional staff, and 28 more are critical IEP facilitators who can support legally mandated IEP process requirements, relieving significant workload from our classroom teachers. Another 26 of those positions are for our Birth to 5 services program, where the number of students we serve has increased by 23% over the last 2 years. With many of those students in our pre-K classrooms, we have not received special education positions for student growth in our budget in 3 years. Hear me out. In 3 years. This is a critical need. And if it is not addressed, I promise you, these special educators we've been able to hire and bring in will find somewhere else to work. Under the blueprint requirements, the need for pre-kindergarten classes continue to grow. There are 17.3 positions and nearly 1.7 million in my recommendation to add staffing to expand our pre-K program for 4-year-olds by 4 classrooms. I've also included $2 million for early intervention teachers to replace expiring blueprint funding and $275,500 for staffing as we begin to convert the Carver Professional Development Center in Gambrills into our county's 4th early education center. The growth in multilingual learners continues to be among the fastest in our school system, and we simply have to do more to ensure those students and their families receive the instruction and support they need. This plan contains more than $2 million for those efforts, inclusive of 18 English language development teachers, 2 bilingual pupil personnel workers, and a shift of 6 bilingual facilitator positions to 12-month schedules to be better able to serve families year-round. Now, I believe we have done a good job addressing the social and emotional needs of our students as we have emerged from the pandemic. However, we must do more. And this recommendation funds 3.5 additional school counselors to help do that at the elementary level at a cost of $420,000. Ultimately, our goal is to prepare our students not just to be ready for college and careers, but to excel in whatever field they choose. To do that, we need to provide as many opportunities for students to explore a variety of interests as we can. To that end, this plan includes more than $700,000 for increases in co-curricular clubs and paid apprenticeship opportunities for our students. That has been a success. My recommendation also contains more than $6 million for laptops for high school students as we transition them away from Chromebooks to devices that are more appropriate at that level. This will leave more Chromebooks available for students at the elementary and middle school levels and mitigate the gap caused by the large number of damaged or unreturned devices we have seen in recent years. I've also included $1.5 million to replace expiring grant funding for our iReady diagnostic system and $1.1 million for the new Canvas learning management system. The safety and security of our students and staff continues to be of the utmost importance, and I have said repeatedly that we are exploring many options in that area. Between operating and capital recommendations, I have included more than $3.5 million to construct more security vestibules at schools and enhance our security camera systems and launch a pilot program to harness state-of-the-art technology and install non-invasive weapons detection systems at 2 yet-to-be-determined schools. These security measures are just a part of this equation, though. We must continually work with our students and have the ongoing involvement of our families and community members in the lives of our students, both at home and in school. There is also nearly $1.6 million in this recommendation to complete the rollout of our middle school athletics program and $3.2 million to open the New Village Academy Public Charter School. To meet more needs resulting from our enrollment growth, I've included $600,000 for 11 positions for alternative vehicles as we continue to expand that service to students. As I said at the outset, nothing we do is possible without our amazing people. We have worked very hard to show them they are appreciated and have been staunch advocates for funding to improve what I still consider to be subpar compensation levels when you look at neighboring school districts. In no way does that advocacy stop in this budget recommendation. I have been very pleased that we have been able to achieve harmony with our employee bargaining units in the last 2 years, and our leadership team continues to work hard to build positive relationships with these groups. I have and continue to urge them to join forces with us to advocate for the continued compensation increases for all employees. We are far stronger as a team than as individual units, and I look forward to working with them to secure the nearly $57 million in compensation and benefits funding I am recommending in this budget. That includes a step or step equivalent for all eligible employees, plus a 3% cost of living adjustment for all employees. Over and above those increases, my budget recommendation contains compensation enhancements in every bargaining unit. They include $1.4 million for blueprint mandated stipends for national board certified teachers, $428,000 related to the transition of teachers to the new AACPS career ladder, the first of its kind in the state. This not only meets blueprint requirements, but also offers a unique, structured, and progressive pathway for teachers to advance professionally, earn additional compensation, and expand their leadership roles within the school system. $220,000 for the first of a multi-year plan to adjust salary band placement for principals and assistant principals. $658,000 to bring the hourly rate of all Unit 3 employees to at least $18 per hour, and $730,000 to upgrade salaries for eligible teacher assistants at the pre-K and ECI levels. Our people and our programs all benefit our students in settings that we continue to see improvement on a daily basis. And I also want to say a quick word about the capital budget, for which the board has already provided preliminary approval. We are in the final phases of transforming education in the Old Mill cluster, and the $204.7 million fiscal year 2026 capital budget I bring before you again tonight gets us almost to that finish line. Nearly $120 million of that plan is allocated to construction funding for a new Center of Applied Technology North, a new Old Mill High School, and a new Old Mill Middle North. They are the final 3 pieces of a plan that has involved building 7 schools, and by the time it is completed, will have taken 12 years. The rewards of that work can already be seen in places like Rippling Woods Elementary School, Quarterfield Elementary School, Old Mill Middle South, and Severn Run High School. We have a lot of work to do, especially at our middle schools. And I've been very, very vocal about the condition of those middle school facilities. I urge everyone to continue to advocate for school construction funding with our elected officials at the county and state levels. They have been great supporters, yet there continues to be significant needs. By their very nature, budget addresses are filled with numbers and lay out a roadmap for the future. However, behind every single number I have mentioned tonight, and the thousands contained in the full budget recommendation book, is a child. A precious child whose future we hold in our collective hands. Our children, each and every single one of them, are depending on us to obtain the necessary resources to use them to shape that future. This is an amazingly beautiful, diverse school district in so many ways. That diversity is something on which we can and must continue to build upon. For me, where we can go from here is clear. We can become the greatest school district in this country, period. If we have the resources, if we do the things that our strategic plan calls for, if we stay true to being honest about the data, attacking that data in a very strategic way, and moving the needle for all of our students, we will become an absolutely phenomenal school district in this country. That results in a higher quality of life, not just for our students and their families, but for every single person who chooses Anne Arundel County as their home. Our students are counting on us to help them belong, grow, and succeed. It is up to us as adults to make that a reality. Thank you.